Elaine Parker coming up momentarily from the Job Creators Network. We're looking forward to that. Speaking of the Job Creators Network, it's one of my favorite companies because, well, they're for tax cuts. And tax cuts, well, they're a good thing. So, by the way, this segment brought to you by the Job Creators Network. Americans in every tax bracket got a tax cut thanks to the Trump tax cut bill signed into law last year. Now, the economy is growing, wages are rising, and Americans are feeling really good about the future. And their kids are moving out of the basement and getting jobs. Yay, make your basement great again. And you've got more money to spend on what is important to you and your priorities because it's your money after all. Democrats in Congress who voted against the tax cuts, they're promising to raise your taxes if they win in November. What an economic plan for prosperity that is. They want to go back to 1% Obama growth, not 3.5% or 4%. They want 1% or less. And they want to take your money. They want your money back to spend on their priorities. Only you can stop them in their tracks. To find out how much of your money you get to keep instead of sending it to the swamp, go to taxcutswork.com now. There's an easy-to-use calculator. It will tell you how much money the new tax cuts are saving you this year. How cool is that? Check your savings at taxcutswork.com. I love this website, taxcutswork.com. And then sign a letter to Congress telling them, keep your grubby little hands off my tax cut. Go to taxcutswork.com right now. If you're driving, well, pull over the side and do it. If you're at a computer at work, do it now. Because the money you're saving, guess what? It's yours. Go to taxcutswork.com. How easy is that? Check your savings and let Congress know you want to keep your savings. This message paid for and authorized by the Job Creators Network, fighting for jobs and lower taxes every day, and I'm for that. Aren't you for that? I love the Jobs Creators Network because, you get so few companies out there that really get the whole economic thing, and I'm one of those people that really understand it. Joining us now is Elaine Parker of JCN, the Job Creators Network. Elaine, great to have you.
Great to have you, John. Thanks for having me. I'm actually the president of the Job Creators Network Foundation. We were founded by Bernie Marcus, and he is the creator and founder of a little organization called the Home Depot. And we are a nonpartisan organization. We advocate for small businesses, but we are unabashedly in favor of small business and economic policies that help small businesses thrive and grow.
Well, I tell you what, Bernie Marcus, great guy. He was one of the co-founders, as you know, of Home Depot, along with the owner of the Falcons. I just can't think of his name, the Atlanta Falcons right now.
Arthur Blank.
Arthur Blank. I'm not a Falcons fan, but I could care less one way or the other about them. But the other thing that Bernie Marcus did is he funded an aquarium in Atlanta when I was still there. That's just is a marvelous place. Because in Atlanta, Georgia, we never had one. And he said, you know what? You need to have an aquarium. And he basically funded him. It was like $100 million or something. And he funded the overwhelming majority of it. So he's a really good guy. And look, he's a job creator, right? I mean, they had this idea, Home Depot. They started all these jobs. And now the company has been very prosperous. It provides a great living and a great career for many people. But tell me a little bit about the Job Creators Network and what your long-term objective is, Elaine.
Sure. Well, as you said, Bernie founded us, and he founded us because he really believed that the free market system was under attack by high taxes, high regulations, and a lack of access to capital. And there was a time when he was opening his first store, and he was a small business owner too. And so he remembers those struggles that small businesses deal with every single day. And so the point of Job Creators Network is to help educate the public, employers, the media, and legislators on how government policies really impact job growth. There's 30 million small businesses out there, and they employ almost 60 million people. So that's 90 million people depending on the success of small business. And that's why these tax cuts were so important. And initially, the Congress was leaving out small business. We were able as an organization to actually persuade Congress that they needed to include what we call Main Street small businesses. They don't have a voice, and we acted as their voice during this fight. And now we've launched this campaign called the Tax Cuts Work campaign. And what we're doing is we're educating the public that tax cuts do work. And small businesses are growing as a result.
All right, Elaine, look, the Democrats have been lying to the American people with their friends and cohorts in the legacy media. It's like their offensive line of football. They've been lying to the American people about these tax cuts for 7 months, saying that their taxes are going to go up, that it's for the rich, it's only for big business. I don't know how you keep lying when all of a sudden you're going to be paying less money, and all of a sudden the gig is going to be up and people are going to be say, what the hell have they been talking about? So that's number one. But the second thing on small businesses, so one of the biggest advantages for small businesses on this Trump tax cut that you were behind was led by Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, I believe, where he got the 20% pass-through reduction part of this. And not a lot of people understand this because they pass through, like, what does that mean? But here's what it means, and it's huge, all right? So if you have a small company and you're operating as an LLC, basically on a 1099 basis, right? And you have your company and you have all your expenses and you got your revenue, your expenses. When it's all said and done, you make a profit, right, Elaine? And hopefully you make a profit because you have to in order to support your family. So let's say at the end of the day, you make a profit after all that work and it's $100,000 for the sake of argument. Well, the 20% pass through, that few people realize this, means that when you transfer the 100 from your P&L statement on your LLC or whatever business it is to your personal income tax return that you have to pay taxes on, 20% of that comes right off the top. So, and rather than paying taxes on $100,000 income, you get a 20% discount. You're only paying taxes on $80,000. So right away, that the first $20,000 you made is non-taxable. Then everything starts. This is a huge savings for people that nobody understands. Why haven't we been able to explain that?
You know, it's just, I think some people see it as kind of wonky, but the reality is there's 30 million small businesses that file just like that. They file as individuals. And prior to this tax cut, small businesses, Main Street small businesses, as we call them, actually paid sometimes as much as 40% in taxes. Mm-hmm. And when you add in state and local taxes in some states, as much as 50% of mm-hmm. every dollar they earn. That's more than companies like Apple mm-hmm. and even the Home Depot pay in income taxes. And that's just not right because these are the companies that are generating and creating 70% of all jobs in this country.
It doesn't make any sense. And that's why you got this through. And like every time I get in a Lyft or a taxi cab where there's an owner that owns the medallion or an Uber driver, I tell them immediately, do you know that you this year, if you make the same amount of money, I don't care what your situation is, you're going to pay less taxes because of your personal deduction, children, that goes up, but also the pass-through. Because if you're driving an Uber, right, you've got the revenue you made from Uber, and you've got all your expenses, right, mileage, gas, all that you put against it, and then you transfer that money to your personal income statement. Well, that goes down by 20% right off the bat. So, and then the other thing, Elaine, Parker, that people are going to start to see now with small businesses are they're starting to send in their quarterly estimates. So on the same income that you made in first quarter of 2017, you're going to send the government less money if it was the income was the exact same in 2018 because you're going to get a tax increase. So some people could save $500, $1,000, $2,000, depending on how much it is, $3,000 just in quarterly estimated payments that people are just starting to see right now. Am I right?
That's absolutely right. And if you look at just on the individual side, first let's start with everybody is getting a tax cut because of those withholding tables, and everybody's getting more money back in their check. A family making about $50,000 a year is saving about $1,200 a year. So let's equate that to our bills. That's a year's worth of cell phone bills. Could be an extra mortgage payment. It's pretty big for middle-class families. And let's not forget the headlines that we saw at the beginning of the year. More than 5 million employees have received raises and bonuses. And the interesting thing is a lot of people don't realize that they're actually getting more money back in their check. And I think there's two reasons for that, John. The first is most of us get our checks direct deposited. So we never see that final number that goes in. And here's the key piece. We have 77 million hourly workers in this country, and their checks change every single week based on their hours. So they don't realize that they're getting more money back in their checks. And that's why we have this campaign, Tax Cuts Works. Tax Cuts Work, because we have to educate the American public that when people keep more of their own money, it's a good thing.
Well, it is, and it's a good thing for the economy as well. And the thing is, when you look at this economy, Elaine, growing at 3.5%, I think it's going to go up to 4 and 4.5%. Remember, it wasn't that long ago where President Obama and the Democrats told us that 1% or 0.8% growth is the new normal, and just deal with it. Like Jimmy Carter when he put his sweater on and said, "Turn the heat down." I mean, that was their attitude. Like, the economy can't grow. It's stuck in the mud. Deal with 1%. Now we're going to get a 3-4. But like you say, the tax cuts haven't even taken hold. People don't realize they're getting more money. But once the quarterly payments start to go down and people start going to taxcutswork.com and going into the calculator and seeing how much less money they're going to pay in 2018 that they paid in 2017, they just plug the numbers in. They're going to be shocked. Then that money starts to flow into the economy, coupled with the business tax cut, which went from 35% to 21%. That money's going somewhere. It's going to be put under the mattress. We haven't even seen the benefits of that. So this thing is very exciting. And the Democrats, well, they want to take the whole damn thing away and then give you a tax increase so we can get back to 1% growth and your kids can move back in the basement. That's their economic plan.
Unfortunately, that's true. The Democrats, they did oppose the tax cuts. Not one Democrat voted for it. And that's a shame, because cutting taxes for small businesses and middle-class families shouldn't be a partisan issue. And that's why we've launched this campaign to protect the tax cuts and help people understand that it is helping the economy. We are hearing from our members that they're already buying new machinery, new technology, new vehicles, new equipment. They're hiring people. They're giving raises. They're giving bonuses. These are all very good things. And for any group, any side to want to take that away and hurt middle class and small business, it just isn't right. So we're going to continue educating the public that this is a good thing for America.
We're with Elaine Parker. She is the president of Job Creators Network. This was the organization founded by Home Depot founder Bernie Marcus, and they're working hard to educate people about the truth about the Trump tax cuts. And the Democrats, with their friends in the legacy media, have been lying to the American people for 7 months, saying that it's a tax increase for the majority of people. It is not. And we're just telling you that that is going to come back to bite them. But what they're hoping is they can just perpetuate the lie through November, win Congress, and then they'll raise your taxes before you even know what the hell happened. That's their economic plan. Raise your taxes. Unbelievable to me, Elaine, what they're trying to do with that. A Job Creators Network, you've got a series of events going around the United States where you're trying to bring attention to the truth about these tax cuts. Can you share with us, Elaine, a little bit about those?
Sure. We launched on Friday a national bus tour, Tax Cuts Work bus tour. We started in Virginia Beach, Virginia. We invited small business owners, Congressman Taylor there, it's his district. We were then in Richmond, Virginia on Saturday with Congressman Bratt and small business owners as well, and educating at a grassroots level how these tax cuts are working from small business owners. There is no better voice to hear than the voices of job creators who are actually putting these tax cuts to work. No better
voices at all, because these are the people that are actually, it's reality of it. And even you take a small company like ours, I'm going to be able to spend less money on taxes in the first quarter because of the tax cuts for our company, which means that we've now freed up enough resources to hire another individual. Well, that means another job. Somebody that's not employed gets a job. They're paying taxes. We're paying employment taxes. It's job growth. Without it, I wouldn't be able to do that. I mean, that's just one tiny example, Elaine, in my company that enables me to hire a critical person, because now we have the money that we didn't have to do that, right?
That's exactly right. And also just want to let your listeners know we are going to be in 30 states and almost 50 stops between now and November. Any of your listeners can go to taxcutswork.com and see where our next stops are and if we're coming to a city near them.
Taxcutswork.com. Check it out. Taxcutswork.com. We're going to be following it every day. We're going to tell you what the next stop is on the tour. I got a chance to go on one of your tour buses, RVs, in Charlotte on Friday. Really neat. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I look forward to continuing, Elaine, to be a big part of your rollout here on the John Fredericks Radio Network, Trucking the Truth across America. You can follow the Job Creators Network on Twitter. Go to @JobCreatorsUSA and go to taxcutswork.com. Do it now. There's a calculator there. Sign up, send a letter to your congressperson saying, I want my tax cuts. Go to taxcutswork.com. We're out of time. Elaine Parker, President, Job Creators Network, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.